Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I have a special guest today, and we're going to talk some hockey. Mr. Lord Stanley is here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lord Stanley. I am the greatest trophy in the history of the National Hockey League. And since it is my favorite time of the year, Lord Stanley's favorite cup returns to YouTube. Thank you. Hello? Are we live? What's going on here? You froze. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. This is Lord Stanley here. Anthony seems to have had an issue. I think he was frozen today. So until then, I will be taking over this Pens Pointers. And don't worry, I'm the Stanley Cup. I think I can do a good enough job. So tonight we have the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Washington Capitals. Game 1 of this second round series. And Anthony is back, so I turn it over to him. Take it away, old chap.
Oh, Lord Stanley, your presence just kicked me off the feet, I swear.
See what happens when you're in the presence.
Well, before we lose me again, that was hysterical.
That was awful.
I know. I tell you, your presence. I mean, I can't be near you. But anyway,
thank you.
So let's talk about this before we get kicked out. Let's start in the West, Mr. Stanley. We had 2 games played last night. Edmonton faced off against the Ducks, which unfortunately I didn't get to watch. The Edmonton Oilers, surprisingly to me, won that game. What did you think about it, Lord Stanley?
Well, it was a little bit late for me. Lord Stanley had to go somewhere early in the morning, had to be at work, so I only caught the highlights. But you know what? Those young rapscallion, the Edmonton Oilers, really impressed me. Connor McDavid, Mark Letestu with 2 goals in the power play. Boy, what a good chap he is. You know what? Edmonton's going to make a run out of this.
Lord Stanley, you think they might get through the run, or are you thinking this is going to stay with the Ducks?
No, my heart and my soul, if I even have one of those, I don't think I do, says the Ducks win in 7.
All right, I will keep that prediction in mind. I was saying the Ducks in 6, so I will stick to you on that one. Let's jump to the other series out in the West, Nashville and, oh my God, help me out here, Lord Stanley.
Nashville and St. Louis.
Thank you, Nashville, St. Louis. I actually watched the game. It's a shame I forgot it was St. Louis.
Yes.
Nasty accident on the ice last night. Not sure if you had a chance to catch it or not, depending on how early you went to bed. But one of the Predators got taken off the ice. I feel bad because I forget the guy's name, but he broke his femur. That was the update today.
It's awful.
So good entertaining game. That series, what do you think about that one, Mr. Lord Stanley?
You know what? The Predators, they are on some type of roll. I believe they eliminated a favorite of mine, the Chicago Blackhawks. And if you didn't know it, they just made the list. So, stupid idiots. So, that's what happens when you get swept in 4 by the Nashville Predators. So, the Predators are on a roll. Can they keep up this momentum? St. Louis gave them a run, if you know what I mean. So, I still say St. Louis in 6.
I will agree with you on that one. I think at some point Nashville is going to come off that wagon. I think we saw it a little bit last night in St. Louis's game. A little bit more of a physical team. We know Chicago likes to bring the offense, not as much on the hitting side. So, I do agree. I think St. Louis will get through the round. The only thing I'm nervous about is just the fact that they are with an interim coach at the moment. You know, leadership-wise, do they really believe in what he's saying? Are we going to see if they fall behind too far in the series, do we see it crumble? Or do we see St. Louis stay resilient like we've seen them in the past and make it through this round against Nashville? I mean, at some point, Nashville's going to come off their high horse. We all know they will. So we'll see what happens. But I agree. I'm sticking with St. Louis in 6. Let's jump over to the East. One more series before we get to the one you really want to watch tonight.
Yes.
But, Rangers and Ottawa. What do you got on that one?
Ottawa! Why? Oh, it's the bloody Rangers, of course. They're going to beat the Ottawa Senators in 6. It was a nice run, old chap. But Lord Stanley says the Rangers are the team to beat in this series, and Ottawa struggle against the Bruins. The Bruins! So if you're going to struggle against them, imagine what the Rangers are going to do with King Henrik in net.
I agree. I do agree with that one. I think Ottawa will give them a decent run. Like you said, they did not look good against Boston. The fact that series got dragged out to 6 against a depleted Boston lineup, a lot of injuries on that team. Ottawa should have been able to mop up in 4, maybe even 5 at the most. But they struggled. A lot of overtime games in that series. So on the other hand, Ottawa's been through the struggle. They could use that struggle as a way to say, hey, we barely got through. We got to play better here in the second round against the Rangers. And as we've seen before, the biggest concern I see for New York, last year the Penguins destroyed Henrik Lundqvist. Can Ottawa do the same thing, or is Henrik Lundqvist just a different Henrik Lundqvist this year? Is he really going to be the king this year is the question. So I don't know yet. I have that one going either way in a 7-game series. I haven't decided which one yet. I will probably have a better decision after game 1 tonight.
Yes.
So, let's move on to the series that everybody, honestly, even if you're not a fan of either team, cares about. Because I'm sorry, this series is going to be more watched than the Stanley Cup final. I mean, it just will be. Penguins and Capitals, they seem to run into each other every year too early into the playoffs. We'll talk about that. But second round playoff matchup, Washington, same story as last year, is going to have the home ice as being the President's Cup Trophy winners. Lord Stanley, what are you thinking about this series as it's about to start?
This is going to be a series for the ages. It's going to 7, I predict that. Yes, it is. But who will triumph? Will it be the Capitals? The no-cup Capitals? Pressure is on them, I'd say. Ovechkin, Holtby, Backstrom, everybody. Oshie! They must all stand tall because it is on them to prove that they are truly better than the Penguins. Because on paper they are, but the Penguins are your reigning, defending, undisputed Stanley Cup champions. Yes, they are. I know that very well. I am the Stanley Cup after all. So I predict Penguins in 7.
I'll see. This is one that I can't. As much as I love the Penguins, I have a big doubt in them in this series, and it's not because of the talent of the team. It's really not. I think it's just the Capitals are going to get their ship righted here after a tough series against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who they really gave a run for the money, a lot better than Philadelphia did last year when that series got out of hand. But there's no, as far as I'm concerned, if they don't do it this season, I doubt they're going to have a better shot at it. This is their last chance to really rein in the Stanley Cup. And Alexander Ovechkin is tired of losing to the Pittsburgh Penguins. We all know it. Everybody knows it. They've lost 5 of the last 6 series have gone the Penguins' ways when they've met in the playoffs. I'm sorry, but I feel like the tide's going to turn the other way. I think the Capitals are going to take advantage of the fact that Marc-Andre Fleury, as much as I love him, he's not good on the road. He's really not. No. And this is a road series for the Pittsburgh Penguins. If the only thing that would save them is if they can steal a road game. At home, I guarantee you in this series, the Penguins will win all the home games. The problem is they're going to have to steal a road game, and I just don't think that the inconsistency of Fleury on the road is going to be the dagger for the Penguins here, and I don't think they're going to get through this round against the Capitals. And I'm going to stick with the 2 brackets that I had that picked the Capitals for the Stanley Cup champions. So you might be seeing a new arena this year, Lord Stanley.
Oh, I hope not. I am unbiased. I am a mythical object. So, I shouldn't really root for any team. Yes.
Well, we all know who you like. Chicago. Big changes in Chicago. Remember? Big changes.
Yes, they're on the list.
But yeah, it's going back to the Penguins. I think the biggest struggle for them is, can the defense really? They're going to have to hammer down better with protecting Fleury on the road. We saw he struggled in Columbus. Luckily, the Penguins were able to outscore them in one of the games, and the other one they almost beat him there too. So that's the biggest concern I see is his road goaltending. His home goaltending's phenomenal. He's almost unbeatable at home. But other players on the Penguins roster that could help or could hinder, depending on how they use them. Chris Kunitz is pretty much available to come back into the lineup. Carl Hagelin is day-to-day, which means at some point he could be available this series. The question is, do we really want to try to put them back into the lineup, or do we want to stay with what we have? What do you think about that?
Well, if I was coach, and that's pretty impossible for the Stanley Cup to coach, but I would put Kunitz in, and I would take out Carter. What is his name? Rowdy. Thank you. And who's the other bloke? Oh God, I just had his name. I would take out Rowdy, and then if Hagelin is ready, Wilson, bye-bye. Yes.
I don't know. I'm always skeptical about players coming in after not playing at the end of the regular season. The only one I was not concerned about was Malkin. And the reason why I wasn't concerned was they gave him more time than he needed to get back into the lineup. Now, I don't know they never tell you the actual status on these players. Are they coming in 100%? Are they coming in 90%? Are they rushed because it's the playoffs? I feel that if the system's not broken, it got you through a first round, I say stick with the lineups you have. If we drop behind in a series, God forbid 0-2, or we go behind 2-1, then maybe you change the formula, change something to see if maybe that'll spark it. But I think going into the playoffs in this round, you have to stick with what got the first round done in a 4, because that was 4-1. It was a 4-1 series win. Columbus was never really in it, even though they took a game. The game that they won, we almost tied it at the end of the game. So I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The only concern, like I said, I channel back around to it. As much as I like Fleury over Murray, I don't like that we don't have Murray as a backup.
Yes.
I like having both. All due respect to Tristan Jarry, but he's got no experience in the NHL playoffs. And Sullivan is going to be very, very hesitant to pull the trigger on putting him in if Fleury starts struggling early in a game. So
yes, indeed.
That's almost like we're going to give up the game. And at that point, why even bother pulling him? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, but it'll be a good series. I don't know. Last year, I was confident that the Penguins were going to get through the round. This year, not as confident as I was last year, Lord Stanley. There's a lot of angst. There's a lot of worry. And it's partially because I'm tired of seeing the storyline that the Capitals can't win. They are, as much as I am a Penguins fan, I mean, they have such a good team. It's amazing that this far into Ovechkin's career, they haven't even made it to the final yet.
Unbelievable.
You know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
They haven't even had a chance to see you, let alone raise you.
Exactly. This Ovechkin fellow, I heard he has no cups in his house. How preposterous. What does he drink out of?
Well, they have the President's Trophy, but...
Well, we don't really care about that. Distant relative, related, but we don't really talk.
No, long-lost cousin.
Nobody cares about him. Yes.
Alrighty. Well, I don't want to keep you. I know you got a lot of traveling and some polishing up to do to get shined up before you're handed off to the next team sometime in June. So it was a pleasure to have you on the show, Lord Stanley.
I will be back. Hopefully this run with the Penguins continues. I enjoy being amongst these aquatic birds. They're very nice penguins. I love penguins.
Alrighty, well, Lord Stanley, it was a pleasure having you on. Say goodbye to all the fans.
Thank you all for watching. Remember to tune in every night for round 2 of my Stanley Cup playoffs. Wow, this is great.
Alrighty, Lord Stanley. We'll see you. And everybody, thanks for tuning in and watching. Sorry about the little technical mix-up at the beginning, but we'll work that out for next episode so it doesn't happen. But it's okay. Lord Stanley entertained you for me. Thank you.
Yes, I did.
We'll catch you guys next time. Take care.
Goodbye.